Okay, we will be starting at 12 noon. Let me see what time it is. 11:58. We got a couple minutes. Hi, everybody. I am again trying to commit to my, I just did yoga this morning, so I know I'm a little messy. We will be starting at 12 noon. Let me see what time it is. I was checking my phone to make sure we're up and running, so we are. We will start in a few minutes. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining. Remember that I cannot see who is commenting, so you're more than welcome. I can see the comments. I just don't know who it's from. And so hi. I see somebody already saying hi, so I'm sorry that I cannot reference you by name. You can always tell me your name when you make a comment. I'm using StreamYard, which is a really cool platform that allows me to go live on a couple of Rivka, my biggest fan. I love you. Rivka, we're going to talk about our little Zoom session yesterday too, because I think it's so empowering what happened. So I'm going to also share your story as well. I know you're okay with it because it's a good story about what happened with Carolina. So by the way, guys, I don't. Some people joined the group and may not be on my newsletter, so make sure you join. I'm going to put that on there. Fearlesswoman.co. Subscribe. So you can also be part of the weekly newsletter. Okay, guys, so let's start. So I'm going to keep the Zoom. I'm going to try and do the lives also like 15, 20 minutes, again, just to be sensitive and to really kind of pack a punch, so to speak. So right now, today, I want to talk about, the fearless woman. There's all these different aspects of what the fearless woman represents. And based on a lot of the comments that we've been seeing in the group, am I enough? Like, am I enough? Like this is the biggest reason why so many women lack worth. This is why so many women have deficiencies in their needs, right? They're needy versus having needs, right? We talk about having needs is completely amazing, perfect, normal. I don't know if you saw in the group text, I forget her name, beautiful young woman from New Zealand, communicated to this guy she's dating what her needs are, and he told her she's too forward and too demanding. No, she's not forward and not too demanding. She's clear on what her needs are. That's a very powerful thing to have, and that shows you have worth. When you communicate what your needs are versus contorting and making yourself into a pretzel to address his needs, it's not how it works. So am I enough? This whole issue again of the worth and having the lack of worth and seeing that so many of us have guilt, have anger and resentment, because we've had these relationships with these men that have completely done the pointing. It's your fault. It's your fault. You're stupid. You're dumb. You dress this way. You're provocative. You asked for it, like the pointing the fingers. And all we do as women, natural, is like, okay, we agree. And we start questioning, well, wait a minute, I don't agree, but he must be right. And what can I do to make it better? And you keep getting punched with words, right? To me, verbal and emotional abuse is the same thing as somebody just punching. The only difference, it's invisible, but we have these scars inside of us. And that's why, I know it's maybe on the cusp, but I like posting these daily discussion thoughts, because suppression is what makes you go crazy, right? Suppression of what you really feel. And when you start questioning it, because your husband for so long, was clearly stronger than you. It's true. He was just stronger than you. And when somebody has that strength over you, they influence you. They don't make you, because, you're in a state of lack and neediness. So you don't really know what's going on. Now that you've broken up and you're where you are today, you're able to look to the past and see with much clearer eyes all the issues. But back then you didn't see it. You didn't see it because, again, you came from a point of lack and deficiency of having these unmet needs, whether it's love, attention, security, safety, money, all these different needs that we have. And you need those so badly because you're needy that you will accept a compromised relationship of somebody just keep telling you that you're not, it's your fault and you're stupid and you're dumb and all that. And then, you're like, I'm not enough. Like, he's right, I'm wrong. But then you have all these thoughts and feelings that you think about, but it keeps getting suppressed. So now we finally are strong enough to break away, right? Here we are. Like most of us in this group have done that, whether it's a breakup, whether it's a divorce in it 5 years later, whatever. So now we're able to look and say, what the F? Like, how did that, like, what am I stupid? What am I dumb? Like, you know, am I enough? Like, who's going to want me? Who's going to love me? There is a reason why you think that way. See, when you have these thoughts of, am I enough? Like, who will love me? You have evidence in your life that has proven that theory. See, everything is a theory. Everything in our life is a theory. It's a theory. And what happens, you have these theories, a hypothesis, and you have proven it right. So women who lack worth and women who feel they're not enough, they have a theory in their head that I'm not enough and I have, you know, I'm worthless, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, whatever BS baloney crap that is, but we'll talk about it. And hey guys, hey everyone for joining again. I'm sorry I can't see you. So somewhere from your childhood, you have evidence that proves that theory. And what happens when we're little, we don't really think for ourselves. Like if you think about it, puberty, like in our teenage years is when this thought, right? You know, we have like this inner voice, like, like we talk to ourselves, right? You know, you have a conversation with yourself. So that inner thought thing, whatever that is, I don't even know. It doesn't really exist when we're young. So what happens, we get influenced by an environment. So somewhere in our environment, whether it's our mom telling us, our dad telling us, or what we see, or the chaos, or the alcoholism, Lisa mentioned alcoholism, you know, maybe it's moving every 2 years. You might be a military child. Like I've worked with women that, you know, in the family, they're literally moved every 2 years. That's tremendous instability, you know, making connections. So this person had a lot of chaos in her life because she just felt like she had no roots and no stability. So she just ended up attracting that. So the way to really hone in on, am I enough? Do I have worth? It's so simple, is to basically, as a grown-up, as women that we are today, with intellect. I mean, last time under an x-ray, guys, we're all the same. Don't tell me that you're smarter than me, because you're not. Don't tell me that, or rather, no, I'm smarter than you. That's what I meant to say. But meaning I'm not smarter than you and you're not smarter than me. Like the minute I hear that, oh, she's smarter than me, he's smart. No, maybe you're more educated than me. Okay, like you might have a PhD and I don't. But intellectually, we're all the same, guys, men and women. Again, I always use the analysis of under an x-ray, you know, basically the same. So what you need to do to really understand why you know, had this compromised relationship with your spouse, because right, the goal here as we recover and rebuild and go and move forward, and God willing, find another great partner to have in our lives, because ultimately that's what we want. I mean, we're all humans, and having relationships is important. You have to go back to your childhood as a grown-up. Like, I don't want you going back as the person. I don't want you to be the little girl, but I want you to be the grown-up that you are today, with a perspective and the analysis. And you go back and you observe as a spectator, as in the audience in a theater, in a movie, and you look at, you know, I look at little Revy. Like, let's say I have an instance, you know, in my childhood that, like, I saw certain behavior with my dad and my mom, and, you know, I made a decision that, oh, you know, women should be treated like that. My father was a Latin man. He did not treat my mom well at all, but my mom also couldn't stand up to him, blah, blah, blah. Again, and we're not going there to blame. I'm not there going to blame my dad, blame my mom, blah, blah, blah. I don't do that either, because blaming is just, you know, doesn't self-serve. And at the end of the day, we love our parents. And at the end of the day, our parents truly love us. Like, there's like, most of us in here are moms. I think there's a few women in here that don't have kids, but I would say at least 90% of the, you know, cute little 220 that we have kids. So we understand how it is to love kids, but we also understand that the way we love our parents is very different, right? The way we love mom and dad is a very different love than the way I love my kids. There is a difference. I don't know if you ever thought about it, but I remember like a few years ago, I'm like, you know, my mom must love me the way I love my kids. It's a one-way direction because I don't love my mom the way I love my kids. It's a different kind of love. So when I go back to really figuring out some things that happened when I was little, I don't go there to blame my mom because I know without question, and I'm telling you, parents love their kids just like we love. That's my evidence, okay? So when I have a theory and a thought, I seek evidence to prove it. Whatever thought you have, you will find evidence to prove that thought. So if you think that you have no worth, you're right, because you will seek the evidence to prove that. But the same holds true with the opposite. If you're like, man, I'm a hot mama, I have worth, I'm smart, I'm amazing, I'm gorgeous, I'm sexy, I'm capable, you'll seek evidence for that. Or if not, you're going to create it. That's what we do. If we don't have that evidence, then we will have to create it because there is no other choice. That's what we do here. A fearless woman is the shiznik, and this is what we do. We are warriors, we are fighters, we are empowered, we are strong. And yeah, we got to do this for ourselves. No one's doing it for us. So anyway, you go back and you observe something in your childhood that maybe gave you evidence that said women have no worth, mom has no worth, my best friend, I don't know, something maybe in a classroom with your kids or whatever it is. And that factual event, true event that occurred, has this emotional connection that validates this theory in your head that you're not enough, that you have no worth, that you don't deserve love, that you don't have attention. Meanwhile, it's just not true. As a grown-up, you can now look back in your childhood and say, you know what? You can look at you as a little girl back then and say, that wasn't right. That's not okay, and that's not true. So what you do is you smash that. You smash that. You're like, my dad didn't know that was wrong. So again, I'm not blaming, I'm almost forgiving. And if you don't want to forgive, that's okay too. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm teaching you the method to release this anchor that's pulling you back. Okay. So when you go back there and you look at this event that validates your theory that you don't have worth, that you're not enough, you will see as a grown-up how wrong that situation was. And that simply is not true. What dad said to mom is not right. That's not true. Because if mom is telling dad, if dad is telling mom she's stupid and dumb, even though you'd remember that and you're like, that's not true, subconsciously, it is what you retain. Because when we're that little, we just don't, again, this is my thought and my analysis of it, but we just don't have the ability to question it otherwise. So what happens, you might say, I'm strong and I'm amazing and I'm, independent and all that, but your belief system does not agree. I know that's what happened to me. What happened to me is that I'm fiercely independent. I mean, my whole life, guys, I was like, I freaking got my own green card by myself. I started my own business, Wall Street Personnel, as a recruiter because a guy wouldn't hire me. I did it. Like I've done all these things that truly are pretty remarkable, yet deep down, I had the belief system that I wasn't worth it. Even though on the external world, people looked at me and they're like, oh, she's a power woman. So you see that it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter what you are on the outside, because what you are on the outside when you're working hard and working on your body and your mind and your soul and doing all these things, that's really who you are. But when you feel like something's missing and something's lacking, and then your relationships clearly give you evidence that you don't have worth, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I'm strong, I'm successful, I make a lot of money, yet I have a guy who tells me I'm stupid and dumb. So how does that happen? That happens because you have a belief system that you don't have worth. So it's a very difficult yet releasing and truly freeing concept to go back, because there's evidence that is just so stuck and suppressed inside of you that you have to go there and say, that is incorrect. And as a grown-up and as an adult, you can do that. No blaming. Mom and dad did not mean to hurt you. Just like you as a grown-up love your kids. Mom, I truly believe that. I'm not going to go into that toxic space. Again, I talk about self-serving. I do what serves me. I don't do what doesn't serve me. I used to not be like that. I used to only focus on him and her and them and my friends and my neighbors and my community and my work. Not anymore. I don't do that anymore. And the reason I don't do that, because it doesn't self-serve. Again, I expect you, I'm sure you're going to do it in a positive, healthy way. We're not going to be mean. We're going to work. We're going to contribute. We do all those things, but as long as it makes you feel good. So again, so when you go back to that image and you see something and you're like, that's wrong. That's incorrect. And you're actually going to have a conversation with, I had a conversation with little Revy. Me, grown up, strong woman, had a conversation with little Revy. And I'm like, you know, what dad is saying to mom is not true. And you know what? We're releasing that because it's so not true. And, you know, women are worth it. You know, a woman should be spoken to in a certain way and be treated. And now, girlfriend, you're coming with me. And little Revy now gets put inside. Now, nothing's going to happen to cute little, you know, 8-year-old Revy because she's in here. Now I'm protecting her. They're not protecting her. I am. And that's how you get closure. And then what you do, guys, is you cut that memory. Cut, just like the umbilical cord. Because as long as you have that umbilical cord attached to all those anchors, you ain't gonna be able to change. You have to release it. And again, there's no one's blaming. Do you see how I didn't blame? I'm not blaming anyone. Because if my dad spoke to my mom that way, there's a reason behind that too. Now, I could sit there and explore it. But then all I'm doing at that point is working on figuring him out when really I just want to figure out myself. That's all I want. I want to figure me out because I'm the shiznik. I'm a fearless woman and I'm going to do what self-serves me. I'm not going to put my time and energy into figuring him out. That's what I did all the time. Figured him out, figured her out, you know, try to fix, try to rescue, try to save, try to control. No. The one you fix, rescue, save, control, and nurture is yourself, not them. Of course, you're still going to be a good mom. Of course, again, we're not being extreme here, but I'm trying to enlighten you to understand that you have to recognize that now as a grown up, as an adult, as a grown woman, you have the ability, absolutely, to go back and seek that evidence that is false. It's fake. It's not true. See, we get to make our own thoughts. We get to make our own rules. What mom and dad and the environment and the situation created to give us those belief systems, they're not true. So, you know, you're having a battle. You know why you see all these comments from everyone? Because we're having a battle. We're like, but I am worth it, but I am strong, but I am making money, but I am working this and that, yet something keeps pulling you. Yeah, because you have a belief system that creates something that you're not even aware of. So you have to make it aware. You know, on the Zoom call yesterday, we had this yummy woman, Carolina. She doesn't have Facebook. I told her she needs to be on Facebook, but I wanted to share the story. It was so great. Bottom line, we talked about worth. We talked about, you know, not being enough. And she said, you know, she goes, Revy, I've never even, you know, I won't even spend money on buying flowers for myself. Because, you know, do I deserve flowers? I'm like, girlfriend, your homework today is to go and buy yourself any flowers. See, when we women lack worth, we don't even allow good things. We don't allow good things to happen to us. Not only do we not buy ourselves flowers, we almost tell other people not to buy flowers. I remember I told my husband right when I met him. I mean, I met him in college, and every night he would bring me flowers. And then I remember on the 4th night, I said to him, you know, it's so much money. You don't have to bring me flowers. I never saw flowers again for the rest of my marriage with him. I did that. I created a rule of, no, you need, you know, he showed up here, but I'm like, no, I'm down here. So you got to treat me like that. What the hell would I say not to bring flowers? We weren't even married at that. You know, we were just dating. So it wasn't even like it was our shared money. No, that was unacceptable to a point that I think it was around 6 months after I broke up with my husband, I went out with my girlfriend. We were at a farmer's market. And I remember there was a gorgeous flower stand out there. And my friend Pam, she's in the group. She's amazing. I remember Pam said to me, Revy, she looked at the flowers. We both looked at it. It was so pretty. She goes, Revy, I want to buy you flowers. And my visceral instinct was to say, are you kidding me? I'm not going to have you spend money on me. Don't be ridiculous. And you know what I did? And this is what I did in the Zoom call yesterday. I went like this. I want you guys to do that. I bit my tongue. And I did something that was so uncomfortable. I was like feeling so badly. I said, I would love flowers. Thank you. And I remember my heart was beating. And then I was like, Revi, don't say it, because then I was going to say, well, and then she said, well, which one do you want? And I'm like, I went with the one, I love sunflowers. Sunflowers are my favorite flowers. And I'm like, I want that. Now, the other part of Revi would be like, okay, well, let me buy her flowers, or let me buy her a cake, or let me, pay for breakfast. No, I knew this was an exercise in my worth, right? It was an exercise in me saying I am enough, because I'm so enough that I will receive a beautiful gift from a friend who wants to buy me flowers without feeling the need to trump her, to give her a better gift, to do something in return. Now I'm a woman of worth, right? Now I'm a woman that says, yeah, I deserve those flowers. Thank you. So these little exercises, and by the way, that cute woman, she sent me an Instagram post. She bought herself a gorgeous roses for her house. And you know what? You look at the roses in your house and you have a smile. You're like, that's really nice. I just spent whatever, $30, whatever it is, on buying roses for myself. And it's a good feeling. And all of a sudden you're like, this feels good. And all of a sudden your worth moves up. It goes, it starts moving up. Oh, this is for you. I love sunflowers. I don't know who that is. Thank you. I just love them. They're big, they're bold, and they're so beautiful, and they represent sunshine, which is life and energy. So I've always loved sunflowers since I was little. So that's what time is it? Let me just pop in. 12:20, man. I can't believe it's 20 minutes. I really want to, not go too long. So those are the tools that you need to do. You need to go back to your childhood and as a grown-up and really assess events that, clearly provide evidence to you that you have no worth. And that's not your evidence, that, those were events that occurred that simply are not true. And as a grown-up, you can go back there and say, yeah, that's an event that happened, but that's not true. And come here, little Revi, come gorgeous. You're friggin' amazing. We do not tolerate that type of language. We do not tolerate that. That is incorrect. You're absolutely gorgeous. You're coming with me now. And then we cut that memory. It doesn't serve us, and it's not true, because now we use our own thoughts, and then you create evidence to give you worth. So if you truly don't have things in your life that show that you have worth, then you do what Carolina does yesterday. You go create it. Buy yourself flowers. Now, Rivka was on the call yesterday, and what was amazing about Rivka is she brought in, and I thought this was important to mention. Rivka said, or you can go to your, what I do, I go to the backyard and I cut flowers and I put them in the house. So, but with Rivka, as we know, that she's really working super hard on self-maintenance of money. Like for her, it's about having income, having a stable income to support herself. That's a visceral need that she's working very hard, and she's achieving that. She's already 2 years on her own. Even though it's been hard, she's still 2 years by herself. Now, her going out to her yard and cutting flowers shows she has respect for money. She has respect, meaning she still has worth. I'm going to put beautiful flowers in my home, but because her neediness right now deals with money, she's not spending $30 on roses, because that's not really fiscally responsible, right? So that right there is how she's exerting her worth and her needs. I respect money, but I'm still beautiful. I'm going to bring flowers into my home. Whereas the other woman, Carolina, she's a professional. She makes good money, but she felt that she had no worth. So yeah, you go spend some money on yourself, girlfriend. And it doesn't have to be a lot of money. It's for me, it's my Starbucks and my Pure Bar, right? To me, that's my luxury. That's how I self-indulge. For somebody else, it's flowers, but whatever it is. And when somebody gives you that gift, and I even said to her, and I'm going to say to you guys, don't just do it to yourself. Ask your friends to do it. Ask your friends to text you and tell you how gorgeous you are. Like, it sounds so ridiculous, but getting a text with somebody saying, I'm so grateful you're in my life and I love you, how good does that feel? I know it sounds contrite because you're asking them, but your best friend loves you. Your sister loves you. That's called unconditional love. And because you're dealing with pain and building your worth again, that's the nourishment that you need. You need people to water your soul. So you're dehydrated, you're thirsty, you're dried up. So you need now to be watered. And it's your God-given right to ask for it, with the tongue too. Like, just because somebody does something nice for me doesn't mean I have to do something nice for them. It's a very difficult thing for women like us. It's hard to do that. I'm not condoning it all the time, but because we're in such a place of lack right now, that's what we need to do. Of course, you want to do something nice. Of course, with my friends, I do something nice, and I always do something, you know, I'm not talking about macro normal. I'm talking about this acute phase. You're in an acute phase of recovery and rebuilding and coping. This is acute. You've been hit by a truck, and now maybe you're in rehab. So this is not the time to be doing things for your friends. This is the time for your friends and loved ones to do for you. And that's how you work on your worth, and you start going up the ladder. Okay, guys. So that's my thoughts on being enough. Of course, you are enough. Create the evidence to show that to you. Put your teeth on your tongue. When somebody wants to do something nice to you, you say thank you. And you don't offer to do something in return, because just like we do something, just think of us. When we want to do something nice for someone, do we ever expect them to do something nice back to us? Of course not. It's my pleasure to give. It's my pleasure to help you. It's my pleasure to do something. I want to. I, as a giver, never have that expectation. So I want the people around you to do the same for you. And you, in order to work on validating your worth, you gotta bite your tongue and not say, oh, well, let me bathe for breakfast. No, if you're gonna have breakfast together, you split it. This is not about tit for tat. That's not what it's about. That's conditional. Unconditional is outright giving. But in this acute phase that we're working on becoming strong, you know, allow the loved ones in your life to nurture you, and most importantly, allow yourself to nurture yourself, and seek evidence to validate that. And if you don't have it, then, you know, create it. And if you can't create it, then fake it till you make it. You know, you fake being happy in a marriage. You can certainly fake it. Like, it is that powerful. The mind is that powerful. It has nothing to do with money. Like, even she said yesterday on the Zoom call, she said, you know, Revi, I remember that they used to, you know, my parents and my grandparents used to speak like that. And I said, that's never going to be me. And it struck a chord with me, because I remember also when I was little, I said, that's not going to be me. Meanwhile, that's exactly what happened. It's the ironies of ironies. And only now, as a grown woman, can I look back and I understand it. Because when we're young, we're so impressionable, and we do get influenced by our environments and our parents and our peers. How come we not? We're not strong at that point. But now, as grown-ups, we are absolutely capable of making our own opinions. And it's just a decision that we make. Yeah, I'm going to make my own decision, and I'm going to observe that. And that's not true. That's very empowering. Okay, guys, tomorrow I'm going to have Ann Dector join us for a live. I love her. She's great. She's got a whole spiritual component to her. Thursday, off all goes well, I'm going to talk about love and dating. Monday is Zoom, 12 o'clock, $5. I'm still continuing it through the month of June to see if I want to continue it moving forward or not. And that's it, guys. Thanks for your input. Thanks for your support. There's a lot of women that have come here that are in much more pain than others. So we are one voice, and to give that support. Again, sometimes people just need to unload. It's not about the solution. It's not about the answer. It's not about, you know, creating a whole drama. It's just about releasing it. It's a good feeling to just, the suppression can make you go crazy. So when you just release it, it's a good feeling. So that's what this is about. Release, get it out of your system, and you're just going to start feeling better. Okay, guys, have a great day. I'll speak to you soon. Mwah. Ciao.